Good morning, afternoon, or evening, dear YOGATXers. My name is Echo. Thank you for being here with me today. Today's practice is inspired by tight shoulders, so tightness across the chest, tightness in the top of the shoulders, our deltoids, and down the back towards the shoulder blade. This area of the body has been so underworked and overworked in many ways in the way that we are living our lives, especially with the way that we carry emotions. And so emotionally here in the arms and in the shoulders, we have the arm lines of traditional Chinese medicine that are coordinating with the heart and other things as well, but we'll just touch on the heart today. And so these arm lines, these fascial networks that work within the arms and the shoulders and the chest, there can be a lot of sensitivity here, especially when we're feeling restricted in the heart space. Our shoulders can slump forward, and the same physically if we are working at a desk all day or if we're sitting behind a car, the shoulders naturally can turn inward. And so the desire today, as we practice in the short practice together, is to open the chest, to open the heart space, which can help us to breathe more, which can help us to broaden our perspective, because our vision when we're slumped is looking down. But when we open the chest and the shoulders, our vision begins to naturally look up and embrace the world around us. So there are energetics and physical elements of the practice, and whatever is your medicine and whatever is meant to come through for you is your choice as a sovereign being on your own healing path. And so I invite for you to simply observe and to really listen internally to the soma of your body and what it's trying to show you. So that being said, let's go ahead and sit up nice and tall. Take a moment to just ground. Allow the spine to grow long, shoulders relax down the back as much as they can for now. Close the eyes behind closed eyelids and begin to breathe in and out of the nostrils. So deep inhale through the nostrils, deep exhale through the nostrils, listening for that ocean-like sound. Can slowly open the eyes, inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, draw the hands down through center. Inhale, reach up. Exhale to the center. Inhale, reach up. And exhale to the center. Bring fingertips to the top of the shoulders and begin to draw the elbows down or back and down. So rolling back and down. And you might hear a little bit of creaking, like just that kind of, it might sound like a little bit of a snap or a pop in the fascia. Move slow. Direct your breath there. So continue with that Ujjayi breath, equal inhalation and exhalation. Let's move in the opposite direction. Bring the shoulders back and up. Back and up. So we're working into the shoulder head here. And how often do we do this movement if we're not athletic human beings? You know, unless you're reaching for a jar of pickles at the top of your pantry. For me, I'm always reaching up because I'm 5 foot tall. Okay, so let's come back to center. Beautiful. So we're just beginning to warm up the joints. You can even shake it out a little. The arms go out to the side. Make some funny noises. Flick the hands. Shake back and forth. We're releasing any stuck energy. Beautiful. Let's take an inhale, reach up. Exhale, bring the hands to the back of the head, clasp the fingers, open the heart space, look up. So we pause here for a moment. Keep the chest open, bring the shoulder blades together behind you. Use the palms to support the head. So we don't want to really crank the neck back so much. We're pushing the chest more forward. Inhalation and exhalation through the nostrils. And you can begin to move from side to side. Kind of find a little swing. Again, we're unsticking any energy that might be along the lateral lines in the side body as we open the chest. We're so used to static movement in yoga, but a lot of times this can be really beneficial if there's any stagnant energy and little hidden spaces that we're not used to moving in our regular kind of movement patterns. So we're switching it up. And come back to center, slow down. Beautiful. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bend the elbows, open the heart space. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bend the right elbow, place the right hand behind you, between the shoulder blades. Bring the left hand to the lower back and try to take the fingers together behind you. So right elbow's up, left elbow down. If you need to grab onto your shirt, you can do that. If you need to get a towel or a strap can help you to bring the hands closer together, wonderful. You can't see my fingers, they are touching, but I have very open shoulders. If you have tightness, this might be impossible. I encourage you to grab onto your shirt and hold on to that. Get a towel, get a strap. And make sure you're keeping the chest open. So notice if you're rounding here because you're taking the fingers. If you're rounding, let go of the fingers, grab that strap, that towel, whatever it is, and sit upright. We're trying to open the shoulders here, so we don't want to be counterproductive. Let's switch sides. So left elbow bends, left hand behind the upper back, right hands to the bottom. And this is my tricky side. This one's tough for me. So I have scoliosis on my right side. So there's some imbalances here. And so just notice that. And I'm having to overcorrect a little bit. I have to really make sure that I keep my chest open here because it's very easy for me to kind of fold in on myself. Few breaths. Ooh, I can feel this in my right deltoid is a tricky one. When you feel little pinches, stay with it, use your breath. If it's not pain and it's discomfort, we're creating more spaciousness. It's not gonna be easy. So imagine cleaning up your house. You've got boxes and boxes to move. It's not fun, but once you get the boxes out of the way, you have all this space in your house. This is what we're doing in our body. Inhale, reach up. Whew, and exhale, shake it out. And you can kind of turn from side to side. Each hand hitting the opposite shoulder, just moving from side to side. And sometimes it just is that. It's not even doing a posture perfectly, you know, in a beautiful static way, but just moving a little bit. We get into the spaces, those spaces. All right, come back to center. Let's come into tabletop position. It's cold here today, so I got my big sweater on. So again, inhale, let the belly drop, look forward. Exhale, round the spine, chin to chest. Inhale, belly drops, look forward. Exhale, round the spine, chin to chest. Inhale, belly drops, look forward. And exhale, round the spine. Come back to center. Walk the hands forward and keep the hips over the knees and slowly bring the forehead or the chin down to the earth. Anahatasana, heart-melting pose. So we're getting into the front line of the arms here, really creating some spaciousness. Just breathe. And slowly slide forward onto the belly, coming into Sphinx pose. So you're gonna stretch the right leg back behind you, stretch the left leg back behind you, open the chest, look forward, and use your palms to pull the chest forward so you release the lower back. So when we're doing this heart opening, it's really important that we pay attention to the lower back. Sometimes when we overcompensate to open the heart space, we crunch the lower back, the lumbar, and then we can get back pain or pain in the piriformis or down into the glutes. So be careful. And you can see I'm just moving from the side to side a little bit here. I can feel this through the sides of my core. It feels really nice. So just explore. So we're going to come down to the chest, stretch the right leg or the right arm out to the right side, come up onto your left fingertips, roll onto your right shoulder, bend the left knee, and bring the left foot behind the right thigh. We're coming into what has been called before broken wing. And I'm trying to remember, a student on here gave me such a clever name for this instead of saying broken wing, which is intense. I think she called it open heart, like open heart, but we've got heart melting. I got to come up with a clever name for this one. And here you might be able to see, and you don't need to see me if you are in the position to not be looking at your screen, but I'm kind of just waving my left knee from side to side here, and it gives me like a little ability to get even deeper into that right shoulder. And maybe you're like, oh, this is intense. There's no way I'm moving. That's perfectly fine too. Let's come back onto the belly. Let's do the other side. So stretch the left hand out to the left side. Come up onto the right hip. Bend the right knee. Place the right foot down behind you. Stay on the right fingertips. A little wavering of the right knee if you'd like. Getting into that left shoulder. And come back to center. We're going to come up onto the fingertips just outside of our shoulders. You might need to get a little bit wider and come a little bit more forward. Take an inhale, peel the chest up. Exhale, round down. So figure out where your fingertips need to be. Inhale, peel up. And exhale, wave down. So your wave is going to look very different than mine. Inhale up. And exhale down. Make sure not to pinch the lower back. Inhale up. And exhale down. Inhale up. And exhale down. So this time as you come down, we're going to bring the right arm underneath the chest and keep the right shoulder making its way down to the ground. We're not twisting to the left. We want to stay square towards the floor. Slowly bring the forehead down to the ground. You're going to feel this into that right shoulder a lot. And just be here for a few breaths. Peel the chest up. Let's do the other side. Bring the left arm underneath the chest, forehead to the ground. Right arm stretching forward. And again, notice if one side is tighter than the other. This is almost always the case. Our bodies are so asymmetrical generally. Let's peel the chest up. So slowly coming up onto the knees. I'm going to come to standing on the knees just to tuck the toes under, sitting back into a toe squat for a moment. So releasing any stagnant energy in the ankles. Get even the left toe underneath. And it's so wild. People that have studied with me know toe squat is my jam. But something that's beautiful to know in toe squat is that when we're loosening and we're creating spaciousness in the fascia and the feet, it's actually creating a lot of spaciousness in the back line, which, if there's spaciousness in the back line, what's going to happen? There'll be more space in the front line, because if the back line, if it's pinching here, the front line is pinching, and we create spaciousness here, there's more space for the front line to lengthen and to find its back bend. So it all is tied together. I just want you to know that while your toes are on fire and your ankles are building heat. Just a few more breaths. All right, slowly coming forward, patting the toes out. Let's come crossing the ankles, bring the feet out in front, and we're gonna come down onto our backs. So this one's gonna be a little bit more tricky. We want to bring the right hand between the shoulder blades, so like we did when we were sitting up, and we're gonna come down onto our back. So this can be a bit intense. If you need to put a bolster or a pillow back there, you can. And we're slowly gonna come down onto our backs. And this really opens the shoulder up. So right hand is pressing into the earth, and that right shoulder now is kind of forced by gravity to come closer towards the ground. So if you're someone that has very forward folding shoulders, this is a beautiful practice to do for at least 5 minutes a day on each side. It's a lot, but we want to loosen up the muscles around that shoulder head so it can become sovereign and not so codependent. Imagine it just like a person that's like grabbing onto your shoulder that's like, no, I need you in every moment. We're giving that muscle some space to find its own way and give you more openness. Slowly come back up, release the right arm, take a moment, lay down, and just if you need to make any movements with that right shoulder, you can, some circles. And slowly come back up to sitting. Let's do the other side. So left hand between the shoulder blades. Very slowly make your way down. Use your core as you come down. Left shoulder moving down towards the earth, finding more grounding. And then slowly coming back up. Let's take a comfortable seat and just shake the arms out. Arms up overhead, to the side. Beautiful. And bring them back down to the knees. Let's just take a minute here of stillness, closing the eyes down, breaths in and out of the nostrils. So these very quick practices each day are just so helpful to get in touch with different areas of the body. Just as our shoulders can sometimes carry that shame or that defeat of life, our hips can hold different emotions and grief and anger. Our backs can hold fear. There's so much emotionally happening in the body. So notice where you find physical limitation and contraction. And seek out the physical practices that give you more ease, but also observe what's happening emotionally. Don't forget this finely tuned vessel that you have is very sensitive and also resilient. Let's take an inhale, stretch the arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. Bowing head to heart. The open-hearted, vulnerable and loving being in me honors the open-hearted and vulnerable, loving being within each of you. May you find more openness in your life today. Namaste. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for practicing with me. And hope your shoulders are feeling a bit more open. I encourage you to do these practices for longer, more often, especially if you're feeling tightness in this part of your body, and also observing like what comes up when you practice. Thank you, and I'll see you next week, I hope. And subscribe. Find me in all the places down below. And you can also head to my website, echoflowyoga.com, for upcoming trainings and retreats online and different workshops around the world.